My name's Neil Blacklock. I'm Development Director at Respect. And Respect is an organisation that works with men around relationships and abusive behaviour. So we're the National Association for Professionals working with perpetrators of domestic violence. We run the National Male Victims Helpline for men who are experiencing abuse. We're involved in doing Dad Space. We run services for young people who are using abusive behaviour in relationships. So we're essentially an organisation that's about engaging with men about some quite difficult, complex issues. Well, for most of my working life, well before I came to Respect, I've been working with men, often, most of them fathers, and most of them having real difficulties around child contact for lots of different reasons. Some of them to do with domestic violence, some of them to do with just distance and problems around family courts. And it's always been a concern when you're working with men who are not seeing their children, there's difficulties around it, whether they're suddenly going to turn up at their ex-partner's house on the birthday of their child, cause a scene, demand to see their child, end up with the police involved, and there being lots of damage both for mum and the child. And it's really difficult for kids to feel that relationship with their parent when they're changing so much as they grow up. So I had this idea to try and improve that, and it was through talking to our partners at Attic Media and them coming up with ideas about how new technologies could be used that we came up with the idea of Dad Space. Essentially, Dad Space is the child of Attic Media and Respect. Well, the Virtual Contact Centre has within it a whole range of resources for dads to enhance their relationship with their children. You can send games, you can send sort of electronic presents, which are sort of things which, dinosaurs popping out of eggs, that sort of thing. You can play games. There's games in which you can sort of design yourself, so it's really interactive between the child and the parents. So you can set your own rules, make your own pieces, that sort of thing. You can have instant messaging. And so you can have a sort of almost a live time chat, and you can send longer bits of sort of like email letters as back and forwards to each other as well, and exchange photos. How much access you get to all of that depends on if there are any issues around risk and safety in relation to the children and the parent. And we will decide that because there's a vetting process. And also we have moderators who are keeping an eye on the site and making sure that any communication that happens between dads and children is safe. The last thing we want to do is set up any service which put any children at risk, because we know that's not what dads want. No father would want to use any service that was putting any children at risk, so that's really important to us. It's very safe. So we have lots of mechanisms in there to keep children have their own passwords, dads have their own passwords, data isn't kept on the system. So one of the problems I think that's arisen with some social networking sites is there's been some security issues. Dad Space doesn't have any of that. Dad Space 1-to-1 is the first virtual child contact centre in the world. Nobody's ever had this idea, nobody's been able to implement it. I think it's the product of the way that technology is developed, and also our thinking about how to enhance dads' relationships with their children and what works. So it's those two things coming together. It's called Dad Space, but it can be used by others as well. So there's no reason why you can't have grandparents keeping in contact with their grandchildren through Dad Space. Although it is specifically designed for dads, mainly because there's 2.5 million separated fathers in the country, and a lot of them have difficulties with contact with their children. A lot of them drop out of their children's lives, and we're hoping that Dad Space in the future will be available for dads who are working away, even if they're only working away for 6 weeks at a time and then back with their families, say working on an oil rig. Dad Space can provide that sort of day-to-day contact so they never drop out of their child's life. And also, sometimes children are away for periods of time as well, so it can be a way in which children keep in touch with their dads when they're away. Well, every mum will have their own username and password, which means they can log on if they want to and have a look at what's happening and what conversations are going on between dad and the child. And that's important for us because it adds an extra level of security. Also, we talk to mums about the risks that are involved. If they have any concerns about their ex-partner having contact with their child, what things have happened in the past. And it's important that they feel part of the service, because they're often facilitating and enable this to happen. If they're not on board, not feeling comfortable with it, not supporting it, then it's not going to be successful. So they're very important to us. One of the things that used to happen with child contact is that it would happen when either parents could arrange it, or there was a space at a contact centre. One of the things that Dad Space 1-to-1 provides is it puts the power back into the child's hands, so the child can decide when he wants to have a conversation with Dad. It can be 8 o'clock in the morning, it can be 8 o'clock in the night. It's not dependent on whether there's space at a contact centre or whether it's his weekend or her weekend to see their dad. And it means if they don't want to have a conversation with their dad or play a game, then I guess they don't turn on the computer. So it gives them an awful lot of autonomy, which has never been there before. Because when we started off, we were thinking dads. And of course, this is just such an amazing resource that it's got implications way beyond just dads and children. The whole issue is about kids who have not seen a parent since they were younger may want to use Dad Space as a way of beginning that slow reintroduction to a parent they've maybe not seen for many years. So there's also, I think there's so many different uses to this. Whatever you do, don't forget to enter the World's Best Dad Awards.